So I know I promised, or I think I said I hoped, I'll have to go back and check, to produce these videos on a weekly basis. I can count, I know it's been 2 weeks. That's for a couple of reasons. One is more of the same kinds of challenges with technology, but for the most part, it's because it's been a quiet couple of weeks. And it looks like it's going to be another quiet couple of weeks. So it may be that you get a video now and you got to wait a couple of weeks. It's quiet because, well, Patty's not here, and while I've got a few projects underway, I'm sort of hitting snags. And some of those snags are I need parts, and other snags are I need more hands. And until Patti returns, which will be in 6 days, yay, I'm kind of stuck with some of the things that I'm up to. So here's what's going on, at least where I left off. And oh, by the way, forgive me for not checking on YouTube before I posted the last video. I really did think it had been since the spring since I'd checked in, but after posting to YouTube, I realized, nope, I was able to do sort of a one and done, just a kind of a quick one-shot video that didn't really require any editing other than kind of trimming the beginning and the end. So it had been 5 months rather than 10 months, but oh well. What's going on is a little bit of fiddling around out at the property. Still some problems with the backhoe. Solar power is a project that's going on. I'm gonna withhold talk about solar power. That's going to be, I think, the next video. The way things are going. Let's talk about the backhoe first, and I can catch you up to speed. So I need to get the hydraulics repaired. To do that, I've got to get the backhoe out. To do that, I've got to finish putting the front tire on. The fellow who replaced the tires up front, which was a great thing because my old tires, I kept popping them, and these new tires, that hasn't been a problem. I went from 4-ply to 12-ply tires. But anyway, when he replaced them, he took the inner tube out of the old tires, put it in the new tire, and I watched as his helper there, he didn't line the inner tube up properly. He was close, and he fed the stem through the rim, the stem of the inner tube through the rim, and then he grabbed it with a pair of pliers and was yanking on it. And sure enough, he put a pinhole in that valve stem. So it was a slow leak. Anyway, I had to get tires on the Tesla, so I took this tire back to him, and I actually had a spare inner tube, and I said, here, put this inner tube in. So that tire has been repaired. We're getting a little drizzle here, but I'm hoping it'll just remain a little drizzle. Another reason why the videos are challenging. We'll see. I'll make this as fast as I can. So the tire's on. Put 5 of the 6 wheel bolts back in, and the 6th one was all boogered up and wouldn't go anywhere. And I ordered a new one. Let's see. So here is the original wheel bolt, and here's the one that arrived just yesterday, actually. And I was hoping that the threads on this were bad, so I get a new bolt, put it in, and away I go. Went out to the property today, went to the backhoe, tried to put this in, and it behaves exactly the same. It goes in barely, and then it gets a little canted. So the problem is the threads on the wheel rather than the bolt. So I've ordered a tap this size from Amazon, so it may be here in 6 months. Who knows? But when it comes in, I should be able to dress those threads, put this back in, and get the backhoe going. In the interim, I've been doing a little work out there on the property. I had been clearing the eastern line. I'm beginning to clear the western line. I'm going to move the camera over here and get under the umbrella. Oh, good heavens. That's a little better. At least the camera's out of the rain, and I'm half out of the rain. We need the rain, so I'm quite happy with this. Okay, so what I was doing on the, I hope the microphone's picking that up. I imagine it is. So what I was doing on the property was trying to clear what I had been doing is clearing the property line on the eastern side of the property. And I've got that done pretty well. There's just some spots where the backhoe is necessary to clear some trees and some really sizable limbs out so that I'm right on that line. Otherwise, I'm skirting it. But anyway, that eastern side is pretty good. So I moved over to the western side, and with the string trimmer and chainsaw, I've kind of worked down that side a little bit. And I've got about 600 out of 800 feet of that cleared. It could stand some improvement yet, but it's walkable at least. It's surveyable. I can see it, and of course I'm going to put fencing down both sides of that property because we're going to have livestock, and I want to keep our livestock in. I also want to keep my neighbor's livestock out. Yeah, we got a couple of visitors. A couple of the neighbors' cows seem to prefer my grass to his grass. So they get out and come on down. At the moment, I don't care. They're not hurting anything. It's not a big deal. But in the future, when I have livestock, I'm going to want to protect them from, keep them in and keep anything else out. While I'm doing that, and kind of where I started, I started about 600 feet in from the Caribbean, from that southern property line, and worked my way up. And I did that because there was a bare spot there, and I'm building a bit of a shed in that spot. And what the heck? I'll tell you a little bit about the shed because that's kind of what's going on over there. I'm building that with metal studs, and I've never worked with metal studs before, and I'm making some mistakes and learning along the way. But I have done a lot of stick-built construction, so I kind of figured those skills were transferable. And in some ways they are, but in a lot of ways they're not. So, when you build a stick-built wall, typically what you'll do is you'll have the floor down, and then you'll put studs in. So if it's 2x4 wall, you've got 2x4s. What would be on the bottom and the top of the wall, what we would call the sill plate on the top plate. And you roll those on edge, you put your studs in between, you tack them together, and then that gives you your frame. And then typically what you would do is put sheathing on what will be the outside of the wall. This is an exterior wall. You put your sheathing on the outside of that wall while it's laying down on that floor. You square the wall up first, put your sheathing down, and that keeps the wall from racking and twisting. Okay, so I essentially did much the same thing or I thought I would do much the same thing with these metal studs. And indeed, I laid them out on the ground, squared them all up, and then for the walls, for the sheathing, I've got corrugated tin. And I figured I'd put the corrugated tin up in a vertical fashion, so the corrugations are running up and down, which is a mistake, as it turns out. But I laid out all of my studs so that my corrugated tin would overlap on a stud, and started putting it all together. I lifted this wall up, and it wouldn't rack this way, but it was wobbly. There was no sort of linear structure to it, I guess, right? I mean, it was just, it would bow like this, which is suboptimal, shall we say. So, I'm out there working alone. I lift this wall, pivot this wall up into position, and then I'm just, trying to kind of hold it up with one hand and reaching for, some of these metal studs or whatnot that I can reach, stick one into the ground and kind of prop it up. And anyway, I get the thing up, in position. I'm looking at it, and I thought, well, If this is a stick-built wall, what I would do is throw a 2x4, in each side, and then use those as diagonals and secure them down. And I basically did that with this wall. I took studs, metal studs, screwed them into the sides there, and then screwed them into what would be the sill plate. Right, I had that, all the way around. So there's a little bit of structure there. And I stepped back from it, and it looked secure. And I thought, okay, that'll work. It's been a long day. I'm going home. The problem is what I had constructed wasn't a wall, but it was a sail, because the wall was 10 feet long and 8 feet high, and just the slightest bit of breeze and it would catch it, and it did, and it blew the wall down, picking up the frame that was underneath it. Right? Crap. So I come out in the morning and it's down. I'm like, ah! So I lift the wall back up, and it's a little bit bent out of shape, but I think it's manageable. It's not it's not that bad, I guess. Look at it. All right. What I need to do is build the sidewalls to add a little bit more structure and add some weight so it won't tip over, I figure. And sure enough, I put what I put up was the south wall. I then put up an east and west wall, and same sort of thing. The vertical corrugated panels there, and I get maybe 3 out of 5, down on each side, and it actually does tighten everything up a good bit. And at the end of the day, there, I figured, okay, I've still got that south wall that's going to catch some wind, but I've got a little bit of weight on either side. This will be fine. Nope. Go home, come back the next day. Sure enough, that south wall caught some wind, blew it over, and the other walls collapsed inward, and everything's bent all up. And I just said, "Oh, to heck with it." So I disassembled it all and thought about it a bit, and realized what I needed to do was turn the corrugated panels so that they're horizontal, and that's worked fine. So I've gotten to a point where the 4 walls are all up. They're tied together. They're solid as can be. They're nice and rigid. The issue is I'm working alone, and it's one thing to lay everything out on the ground, put a single panel down, bend that up. That you can do. But then, since the walls are 10 feet long, what I'm trying to do is from the middle of the wall, I've got a 10-foot sheet of corrugated. I'll pick it up with one hand, and then I'll drill through it into the stud with my other hand, and then with my third hand, I'll put the screw in with the screw gun. Yeah, that ain't working. So what I tried to do, I've got all these hand clamps, which are really, handy. And what I tried to do is lift this panel up into place, hold it in place in the middle, clamp the panel to a stud, clamp it to a second stud, clamp it to a third stud, and then I figured, okay, I can let go and go hold and drill and secure it on the corners. But the panel is too heavy. Those three clamps aren't going to hold it in place, and it just falls. So I really can't do anything more until Patti comes home, and then I can lift the panel in the middle and hold it there. She can hold it from one corner. I can clamp it, and then I can work my way down to the opposite corner, drill, screw, right? Secure that in, move down to her corner, drill it and screw it in, and then it's in place. So construction on the shed is on hold, but when that shed is finished, it's going to house all of my tools, so I'm not schlepping those back and forth. I'll be able to lock it, secure it. It will have a gutter, so when it rains, like this, I'll be able to collect rainwater out there. My solar panels, I'll put 4 solar panels up there, and I've got my portable power down there, which is an inverter and a battery, and I'll be able to plug those into those solar panels, and that'll charge them right back up. I'll even wire that shed, and I'll be able to plug that inverter into the shed, into those receptacles, and it'll charge all of those receptacles. So I'll have a light in there, and I'll be able to run power tools or charge up my batteries or what have you. Right? It'll be really useful once it's constructed. I've just got to wait for Patti to get here. In the meantime, the one other thing that I did out there, because I'm sort of piddling around, is I grabbed a shovel and the hoe and a rake, and I decided I'm putting in a garden. Ooh. And that worked pretty well. It was, it was hot work, but that's okay. And I got a little area cleared that's probably 8 by 8 or so. And I've got my first, I planted my first crops there. I'll call it that. It's a surprise what they are, I guess. I'm pretty confident that I'll tell you this as a hint, I'm pretty confident that the iguanas will leave them alone, but we'll see. But anyway, that's, I guess that's what's going on. It's a short video because it's raining. and because I'm sort of spinning my wheels with projects. I'm waiting on a tap to arrive so that I can dress those threads and get this going. Ordered it from Amazon. We'll see how long it gets here. Today is Friday. I don't know. I think it's the 7th. I believe it's the 7th. So we'll see how long it takes for Amazon to get this stuff here. But otherwise, the backhoe is just waiting. The shed is just waiting. The garden out there is, I think, just waiting. And even the line that I cleared, I might go out and fiddle around with that a little bit more, but probably not. Solar power, I will tell you, this is going to be the subject of the next video, that has been hooked up. I'll tell you all about that, and that was a mess, in the next video. Tomorrow, I'm going to buy solar panels, and I've got a line on some used solar panels. 10 of them will go right above me and feed the solar panel here. 4 of them will go out to the farm and feed that portable power that I've got out there. The only other thing going on is this is a 2-bedroom townhouse, and one of the bedrooms is rather open. You come up the stairs from the first floor, the bedroom's on the second floor. You come up the stairs and you walk right into a bedroom. And then there's a hallway off of it that continues down to the bathroom, the full bath and the master bedroom. This surprised us when we bought the place. We bought this place because we had stayed in, and this is number 20, we'd stayed in number 18. So we knew the layout, and we figured this would be the same. Well, the layout's the same, but that one had a wall where this one doesn't. So I'm in the middle of building a wall there. I'll give you probably a quick shot of that. Probably not in this video, maybe in the next one. We'll see. But that's a project that I can make a little progress on before Patti comes home. Again, she'll be here in 6 days. I'll fiddle around with the wall a little bit, and then I've got a lot of cleaning up to do. With the last contract that she did, which was out in Springfield, Missouri, before she came home, I cleaned up, and she got here and she went, "Oh my God, it looks like a hoarder lives here." It wasn't bad. It's just, this is a short-term rental, and there's just not a lot of room for storage of the stuff that you have in your house. And so that's the reason for the shed, is to move a lot of this stuff out. I can't finish that until she gets here. So yes, there is some clutter, but I will do what I can to hide as much of the clutter as I can when she gets home. We'll finish the shed, move everything out. But anyway, a few shots of the construction here, I guess, for the next video, and a discussion of solar. That's what's coming up. So do me a favor, like this, even if you don't. Just help me out. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're up to 92 subscribers, which I'm amazed. I'm utterly, astounded at that. It'd be lovely to hit 100 just because it's a nice round number. So subscribe if you haven't. Get us to 100. Yay! And comment below. As always, let me know what's going on. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you'd like to hear about. And tell me what you think I planted in the garden. Again, my guess is no one will get it right. And then, as always, share if you're chatting with somebody and they haven't heard from us and they're wondering what's going on. Let them know about us. All right. Until next time, I'm going to enjoy my cocktail inside where it's dry. See ya.